Spontaneous speaking video 78. All right, what's up, everyone? Today I'm here to talk about criticism. I've been personally annoyed by it for quite some time now. And I think that, I guess I'll first put the disclaimers here that I understand that everybody is entitled to their own opinion, for sure. And I understand that, like, everybody critiques once in a while. Shoot, like, I'm critiquing in my videos a lot of times humanity as a whole, and like how people operate and everything. But I just wanted to speak some of my thoughts and opinions on what I personally perceive to be as the extreme of criticism. And I guess I could start by things like just tossing out examples. Like I feel like what I've realized is that there are people out there who take their criticism as a form of proving how elite they are. And then by saying this, I mean that they often believe that because it's so hard to actually please them, because they have to have the lowest score on something, like, it was all right, or it wasn't all that good, or like, they always have to find some type of like nitpicky flaws about something, then that makes them the more capable of seeing certain things. I don't know, like, it just seems like it gives them some sort of like gratitude from what I've perceived, and I've seen this with like several people. And I think of things such as, like, I don't know, like, for example, if we're comparing like two rappers, so J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, you know what I mean? First of all, they're both great. In my opinion, I think they're both great rappers. Do I like J. Cole more? Yeah, for sure. Does that mean that I think that J. Cole is essentially a better rapper than Kendrick? Not necessarily. And I don't necessarily think that Kendrick might even be a better rapper. I don't know. I think they're both different in their own ways. And I just have my personal preference. But when we start, like, comparing and using this as like a way to, like, you'll see people on Twitter and they're like just bashing J. Cole and everything. It's like, okay, really? And then even the people who are J. Cole fans that might bash Kendrick, I personally haven't seen any, but why do we have to like pit these two against each other? You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's not necessary. And then I think that, that movie Us came out recently, and I feel like there's so many people who just they just hopped on and started like trashing it, and it's like, okay. And then it was like these like nitpicky flaws of the movie. Every movie has its flaws, come on now, but it was these nitpicky flaws of the movie that it seems as if these critical people weren't even able to pay attention to the good parts of the movie, or even if they did see the good parts of the movie, it wasn't really worth mentioning to them. You know what I mean? And so then they just all of a sudden deem the movie as, it was not all that. Like, they just have to point out some bad things about things. I think that's what I mean by like this criticism aspect. Why do we always have to look and point out bad things in other people and in movies and things like that? I believe in the balance of, I guess what I wouldn't really necessarily find as negative criticism is if people that I'm talking about here, if they did a better job with pointing out the positives. That doesn't mean necessarily that they have to say like everything that they say about a certain topic or a certain movie or whatever has to be a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? But at the least, I believe that, it's just like constructive criticism. It's kind of like if you're watching The Voice or American Idol or whatever new song, like singing performance things on TV right now. As you're watching these and you watch the judges, I think that it's very important to be able to look at, the performer and then say a lot of things that they did well, and then say, well, I think that, some things that you could work on is over here. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to fall into any extreme of, oh, but that was just a horrible performance, unless if it indeed it was, which honestly, I didn't think it was a horrible movie. I thought that it was pretty great, and then do I see like aspects of the movie that maybe could have been better? Yeah, for sure. There's always things that could be better, but in my opinion, it's good to point out the good when you're also pointing out the bad, and then give credit to it properly, instead of just like making it seem like everything. What I'm talking about in this video are the people who it appears as if they notice that somebody else, okay, let me put it this way. If you ask someone to rate maybe us, if I'm a critical person, or what I believe to be a critical person, and you tell me that, like, and you ask me, like, what would you rate it? I'd be like, like knowing that you're a critical person or something, then I'd probably be like, oh, I mean, it was all right, but like there was this and this and this, and they had this, and so I give it like maybe like a 7.5, and then the other person's like, oh, really? Huh? I would have probably given it more like a 6.5, and it's like, oh, really? Well, I actually think that I'd probably give it like maybe like a 6.3. Like you're kind of like, you have to have the lowest denominator for whatever like not the lowest denominator, my math, but like, you have to have like the lowest number, because I don't even know how to explain it. I don't want to say like groundedness, but you have to prove that you have this type of ability, I guess, to be able to see the flaws in everything, and it really just seems as if people like take a very high elitism towards that. And I find that to be annoying, like why can't we just enjoy things for what it is? It's hard to just put out your art like that and put so much work into it, and then just to have everybody just come and, defecate on it. Like, what? Why? You know what I mean? Like, let's see you go out there and make it. Like, if everything is so incredibly let's see you come up with some stuff. I want to see, because clearly nothing is good enough in your book, right? Nothing is really good enough for you to actually be like, no, this was great, solid movie. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's really good enough for you. So I want to see what your example of this is actually good is. And a lot of times these critical people, they end up being critical on themselves as well. And I understand that. So it's like, okay, but I guess when they're projecting that onto like other people and into the world and everything, to me it's just annoying, because I feel like most of what they criticize in that fashion doesn't really deserve that, it doesn't get enough credit from these people, and it's saddening, in my opinion. It's really saddening. So shoot, just yesterday, me and some people, we were watching Michael Jackson concert, and some of them, like, there was like two of them that like, they were kind of like, they, not that they don't respect Michael Jackson regardless of whatever. Personally, I don't believe a lot of the things that are going on right now, but that's just my opinion. I have my reasons for that. But despite all of that that's going on right now with Michael Jackson, the media and everything, these people, they acknowledged that, like, Michael Jackson is definitely an icon, a legend and all of that. But because we have now seen better, for our time period, like, come on now. The concert that we were watching was like 1996, sort of, like, of course it's gonna be, different, you know what I mean? Of course it's gonna be, it's not gonna be this epic kind of thing that we are used to nowadays. But we also have to remember that the people that we're seeing today, Chris Brown, Bruno Mars, even Beyonce, like Usher, all of these people that you're looking at right now and everything, they got a lot of what they got from Michael Jackson. And so to look back at Michael Jackson, watching the concert, it was kind of like, personally speaking once again, but it was kind of like upsetting and infuriating to hear them kind of like trashing on Michael like that. Like comparing him to people who are in our present day, like Bruno Mars and Beyonce. Like, I understand that Bruno Mars is great and Beyonce is also great. Both could be legendary. As legendary as Michael? I don't think so. But they definitely could be like legendary for sure. And they're amazing performers. But to look at a Michael Jackson concert and then just kind of be like, like, no, I'm just kind of over it. And you're like, they're not even doing much, or like, because now you're so used to what's here now. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I respect the idea of everything improving for sure. I'm a life coach, so I have to quote unquote critique people in order to help people like get better. I have to see the areas in which you can improve. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna continue to make you feel like you're like you're not much. You know what I mean? Like, well, you're average, or like, we see so much better now. You know what I mean? When we focus too much on what could be improved, then we don't get to appreciate and cherish what's there properly. And so I feel like, once again, going to like movie examples, when we look at movies that were made way back when, like old movies, like, the first Leprechaun movie and like Chucky, stuff like that. When you're now comparing that to movies such as like today, like The Nun or whatever, or even like the current day It versus back in the day It, like now we have so much better technology and everything, but it's still good to at least give credit to what we had back then for that time period. We don't have to like utterly just be like, nah, Now, do you have to sit down and be forced to go and watch that stuff? No, sure, I understand that, but I don't know. I don't know. I've been trying to, like, I guess, suppress my annoyance with this thing, and so maybe this rant, outwardly it's not as infuriating as it is on the inside, and therefore it's kind of like hard to even like express it appropriately, because I've been really trying to like I don't know, like narcotize how people like that make me feel. But all in all, I just really don't like the idea of how everybody's a critic and they take pride in their critique and elitism, which to me that's just annoying, and I feel like if we can better, I think actually I'm gonna read a tweet thread that I made a while back, not actually that long ago, but recently. I'm gonna read it, and I'll probably like end off over there, because yeah, that's I think that's it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Give me a moment. Okay, there we go. I'm probably going to make a video on my full thoughts about this sometime later this week, but overly critical people not only annoy the heck out of me, but it's even more annoying when it appears as if the person takes pride in their cynicism. Like Us, for example. May have not been a perfect movie, let's be real. What movie is or are actually perfect? However, I think it at the least met a certain criteria that should be acknowledged as a high rating. Like every movie, there's room to improve, but rating the movie highly doesn't say it had no flaws at all. It simply means that it met a criteria and it was impressive in this way. To be proud in having such a rigorous criteria on anything, in my opinion, is over the top. It's like some sort of elitist mindset. It was alright. Had room to improve. Just like everything else, homie. LOL. Come on now. What's good enough for you? And this transcends just movies, but many other things in life. This is true cynicism / negativity, etc., in my opinion. And most of all, pride. Nobody has my critical critique skills. And it's almost like nothing is allowed to be good enough due to a hyper focus on flaws. LOL, that's not good. But that's just some personal opinions and thoughts per usual. I could be wrong here, just how I'm seeing things, and wanted to tweet some of them videos soon though. So yeah, somebody ended up responding to that saying, totally agree. Promote what you love instead of bashing what you hate. And she said, I mean, we all gotta bash once in a while, and it's fine. But constant negativity and criticism is the worst. And I think that's my whole point in this video. I'm not saying, so please don't mishear what I'm saying. But I'm not necessarily saying that you can never speak badly about something. That's not what I'm saying. But to make it a pattern to where it almost seems like you're just cynical, pessimistic, you're unable to give credit due to the good things that are there, that's kind of annoying, in my opinion. It's like people work hard on whatever they do, and you're not even at least cutting them the pay for the good things that they did because you're so focused on what they didn't do properly. And for that whole reason, you now take pride on it. You take pride on your ability to be able to see what was done not properly or what could have been improved. And then that takes priority over anything else. And then it affects your judging scale to the point where you just decrease things dramatically. And it's just, that's just annoying to me. That's just what it is. But let me know your thoughts. I was actually really annoyed that day when I tweeted that. But now, like I said, I just kind of I'm just over it. I don't know. Not really, since I'm making a video out of it, but I thought I may as well, voice my opinion on that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know if you struggle with it. For those of you who are super critical, how did y'all even get there? You know what I mean? Do you admit that, yeah, I actually do take pride in being that friend who, yeah, if Joe says that it's good, that means that it must be good because Joe doesn't think anything is good. Well, for me, it's like I can see the good in just about everything, and I can see the bad in just about everything. And I think that that's proper critique. You don't want to be on either extreme. So you're able to then tell someone the full measure of things. Like if I'm making a review on a product, I can tell people okay, well, what exactly are you looking for? Because if you're looking for a movie that has really deep or really good symbolism that you have to follow and you may have to watch twice, and this might be a movie. But if you're looking for something very logical and just very consistent in everything and not having any patches, and you're not really as focused on the message, this might not be the type of movie that you're looking for. It does very well in this area, but in this area, yeah, it might need some work. But either way, it's still good. You know what I'm saying? And so in order to be able to like in being able to see like both and not really hyper focusing on either one, I think that's more beneficial to other people. But yeah, once again, y'all let me know your thoughts. And I think that's all. Done.